Dun, 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 dun. Oh, we are live on YouTube. How's it going, everybody? My name is Jared Fuller. Today's date is Sunday, May 25th, 2025. It is Memorial Day weekend. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're enjoying your weekend and spending time with friends and family and having a safe and pleasant weekend. And with this being Memorial Day weekend, I hope that we all remember why we celebrate Memorial Day. It is to recognize our fallen heroes, um, both men and women, military, and people who sacrificed their lives, made the ultimate sacrifice for this country. If I can talk, um, yeah. So this is a Sunday video update. My name is Jared Fuller. I'm so glad you're here this week. I'm flying solo this week because Amy had an emergency and Dad had to take her to the hospital. As it turns out, Amy has an infection on her foot, so she had to go and get that checked out, and that's where they are now. They're in Owasso. I don't know if they're watching from the hospital. I don't know if you are. Hello, Dad. Hello, Amy. Hope you're doing well. I hope everything's going well, and I hope the doctors are able to give some information on what's going on. And I'll probably see you here in the next little while, hopefully. There's a lot to get to this week, so without further ado, I will start off by saying um, my week was busy. Um, I've been out looking for a car, actually, because I'm currently without a vehicle. Dad and I spent like the last 2 or 3 days looking for a vehicle, and to no avail. I've been to 3 different counties. I've been to Gratiot County, Shiawassee County, Clinton County, and even right here in Saginaw County, there's really nothing for sale. And well, I mean, there's vehicles for sale, yes, but they're like way out of this world with price range. The people who are selling the vehicles, they want ungodly amounts of money. It's way out of my price range. And I've been checking Marketplace to no avail. I checked Craigslist to no avail. It's I understand, and we are in times of inflation, so I understand things are markedly more expensive. But even for a used car, I mean, people want so much money for them, and so I think I might have hit the jackpot today. I found out because my dad had to take my cousin Damien to Owasso today, and so well, he didn't have to; he volunteered, I should say. But my cousin Damien has a vehicle for sale, and I am still currently looking for a car, and it's within my price range. The only thing wrong with it is, I think it needs a brake line, but Damien said that he already has the brake line and everything required to replace the brake line, but it runs good, drives good, has, everything works, and it's within my price range. So hopefully by I don't know, maybe as early as tomorrow, I should be in a new car. But I have to look at it and I got to check everything out. Not saying I wouldn't trust a relative, but I think that's just a basic thing you do when you buy a car, even if it is from a friend or from a family member. You just thoroughly check everything on the vehicle inside and out to make sure everything works properly, make sure the frame's not rusted, make sure, like the undercarriage isn't rusted out. Um, so maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to Dad about that. But my week has been incredibly busy. And if you're new here, welcome. I talk about the week in review, and I might hint around to plans that I have coming up in the coming week. As far as I can tell, maybe just buying a car for my cousin. I think that's really the only plan I have scheduled for this week. Oh, and I have to pay bills too, because bills are coming up for the month of June already. This month has seemingly gone fast, and so I got to take care of that business. Being an adult is it's not fun. I was watching a video on Facebook this morning of this little girl who was crying her eyes out. She was hysterical. because she doesn't want to be an adult. She says it's like a prison, it's not fun. Well, you're still a child, so I mean, you've got plenty of time to get it all out of your system because although we don't actively cry on the outside, I think we're all crying on the inside. uh, Being an adult, it can be fun depending on how you look at it, because you can do things that you could never otherwise do as a child. Um, I mean, yeah, you have responsibilities when you become an adult, sure. Um, but you also you get to do more things. You have the option of doing more, which makes it nice. And growing older, I can't say this for everybody, and I'll get to that in a minute. Um, Growing older kind of means that you become wiser in your years. So there is a benefit to getting older. And, although I miss childhood to some degree, I don't miss it completely or entirely. Um, Being an adult is one of the better, you know, because you're getting older. You like I said, your wisdom expands. You learn things as you get older. You find things out. Sometimes you learn the hard way. Sometimes you learn the easy way. It just depends on the situation and how you choose to look at things. Um, but I'm going to read these comments in chat real quick. None other than from my weekly comedian chewing off my toenail, who has made his appearance once again this week. 4 comments this week. He says, "When the sun rises in the morning, my toenails yawn and stretch when they wake up. When I'm sizzling bacon in the frying pan, my toenails will stare up at the stove." I didn't think your toenails had eyeballs. Um, I have bags of toenails for sale, 51 cents per pound. As much as I love them, they can't live with me anymore. And last but not least, I love adding toenails to my rice jacks. Ew, now that's gross. Thank you so much, Toenail. And I hope you have an awesome I hope you're having an awesome weekend, and I hope that continues for you. And of course, tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time is the Fox Sunday Flashback with my good buddy Dan Richards. He will be taking your requests, and he will be playing music, 4 solid hours of music from the years of you get classic country, classic rock, and southern rock all into one big conglomeration of genres. And he takes your requests, and yeah, it's going to be a good show. I think he's dedicating tonight's show to the military men and women who had given their ultimate sacrifice. So it should be a great show tonight. And of course, as Dan's associate producer, if he has any music or any songs he wants me to send to him, I hook him up with the music, and then he'll play them on the air. So a lot of the music that if you decide to listen tonight, a lot of the music that you hear on the radio may have come from me. I mean, it's the likelihood of that is really good, because I've helped Dan quite a bit with music. Um, so that's why at the end of every show now he says, "I thank my associate producer Jared from Chesaning for keeping the show cool," and you know, and I appreciate that. I love helping whenever I can. So the Fox Sunday Flashback tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on 103.9 The Fox, which is a radio station that is based in Flint, Michigan. They're licensed to Owasso, but they play a lot of just great stuff. If you like Van Halen and um, Poison and what are the other ones? Bon Jovi and AC/DC, and they play a lot of good stuff, a lot of good stuff. And tonight, Dan kind of sets the tone on variety when he throws in southern rock and classic country, and yeah, it's really a great show, and I think you guys would enjoy it. That's why I share links to his show every week. So yeah, give it a listen. Let me know what you think next week, or you could probably even leave a comment in the comment section of this video. So I'm going to do some name dropping this week. And, I don't like to tarnish a good weekend when we're all supposed to be celebrating and remembering our fallen heroes, but I'm going to do some name dropping this week. So this is for a guy who commented on my community post. He has no subscribers. The channel is about, well, I'd say about maybe 2 years old. It'll be 3 years old on November 4th. Goes by the name of Bruce Duchetti. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Bruce left a comment on one of my community tab posts that I had written 3 days ago. Because now one of the latest rumors is that I faked having cancer. So this is what I wrote. I said, so I'm not sure the age of this rumor, but I'm also hearing that I viciously attack parents of children battling cancer. Let me set the record straight. When you choose ignorance, I'll attack that. And if you're fostering the ignorance, it's open season on you too. So I'm not denying attacking anybody. Yes, I have gone off on many parents of child cancer warriors, and that's because they choose their ignorance in believing the gossip rather than stopping long enough to question and challenge the bullshit they're being fed about me, which is true. Then they try to make foul language the issue when that's furthest from what really matters, which is the gossip. And they do. They try to, oh, Jared, you should hear some of the foul language he says in his daily rants. And I say to that, who fucking cares? Who cares? When you're ignorant and foolish towards me, watch what I do and how I respond to your ignorance and foolishness. It is absolutely deserving of ridicule and bashing. And I stand by that. It is absolutely deserving. We shouldn't be celebrating ignorance. We should be searching for the truth and holding those gossipers accountable for their actions. That was the community post I had made 3 days ago on this very channel. And Mr. Bruce Duchetti, this is what he has to say. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly at this point. I really don't care. It's irrelevant. But this is what Bruce had to say in response. So I wonder if Bruce has actually been a subscriber to my channel for quite some time, because his channel was created on November 4th, 2022. And he's just now commenting on one of my community tabs. So, Bruce, my chat log's open. You are free to come in and defend yourself or to have a conversation or however you want to do this. If you're watching this live, come on in. So, this is what Bruce has to say. And I quote, "If it is just gossip, why don't you walk away?" Well, Bruce, if they would stop fostering this bullshit, I would stop talking about it. Hope that answers your question. I have been taught since I was a very young boy that if someone says something about you, you just walk away. Well, Bruce, so I'm almost sure that if someone said that you were, they were making fun of your weight or making fun of your height or making fun of something that you wish you could change about yourself, then I'm sure at that point you would just walk away. But this is much more severe than piddly shit. This is about someone's reputation. It's about someone's livelihood. It's about the connections that they make with people, with actual human beings. And because you get people who will jump on a bandwagon without actually investigating what they're being told, it's much more profound than just, oh, I'm just going to walk away and leave it unchallenged and unquestioned. And I'm not going to hold feet to the fire. I'm just going to let them say what they say. I'm just going to walk away and say, forget it. No, that's not me, Bruce. If what they say is true, then fix it. Well, Bruce, guess what? That's exactly what I have been requesting this entire time. If what they say is true, it's not for me to fix it. It is for them to demonstrate what they are saying. The claims they are making about me. I am asking for evidence to the claim they are making, or claims, multiple claims, plural. Why hasn't that happened yet? And that's the question I keep coming back to. Why, if they're going to sit and gossip and say all this horrible shit about me, why haven't they demonstrated with evidence for the claim they are making? So you're half right. Hi, Loon. Those that argue that it's not true usually means they have something to hide. Just saying, well, Bruce, you're wrong. If I'm saying to you that something that was said about me is incorrect, that means that if it's incorrect, that's a conflict. That's a conflict of interest. So if I'm denying their claims and I'm saying, show me evidence for the claim you're making, there's nothing to hide. I am asking them. They're claiming that I have something to hide. I'm not. So you're getting this all clusterfucked, Bruce. You going after parents of sick children, whether statements are true or false, don't make you look good. Bruce, I don't give a fuck about looking good. That's one thing you don't know about me. I don't give a fuck about looking good. I give a fuck about what's true and what's not. And if you, Bruce, started this channel 3 years ago, nearly 3 years ago, and if you've actually been subscribed to my channel this entire time, then you should know what the fuck is going on. So that tells me you're either a liar and or you're defending liars and or you are complicit with liars. And then he finishes off his comment by saying, just walk away. I'll walk away, Bruce, when they are proven wrong. Because they keep talking and yet they can't back up anything they say with evidence for the claim they're making. When they decide to give up and say, look, I lied, then I will walk away. That hasn't happened yet because they just like to lie. So, Bruce, you can come into my chat and we can have that conversation right now, or you can just go fuck yourself and have a nice day. Now, second person I'm going to call out is someone who goes by the name of Carrie Rickman, and she has a nonprofit organization called, or actually, you know what? I don't even think it's a nonprofit organization. Team Sharing Smiles Team Megan. So I'm going to look for it right now on Facebook, right while I'm live on YouTube. So let's see here. Let's see. Give me just 1 second here, guys. Right here. So she shared a post from Debbie Carver, which, by the way, I have Debbie blocked, but I have ways of finding shit out. So Carrie shared a picture, or not a picture. She shared a post from Debbie Carver, one of my problem people. And she writes on Facebook, he is one of the biggest reasons I've stopped posting kids. Him and a few others seem to stalk the kids and their families. No one's stalking anybody. I haven't stalked anybody. I'm not a stalker. Never done that. I deny that claim. One time we actually had a guy show up at one of the kids' houses. Well, that wasn't me. I don't go to anyone's house unless I'm invited. And that's been the case since day one. I don't just show up out of the blue. So I just don't post kids on Sharing Smiles anymore. Google gives addresses. It's not that hard. Yeah, and you know what, Carrie? People also tend to post addresses and email addresses on the fucking Facebook page. So it's not just Google. You really are blonde. Please watch what you share on Facebook. Oh, you break my heart, Carrie. And whoever this Susie Bibby person is, we stopped sharing our son's cancer journey on a public Facebook page used for updates because of this creep, and she's calling me a creep. Well, Susie, let me ask you a question, Susie. Um, first of all, am I a creep? Have I done anything to you directly or anyone else that you can actually demonstrate with evidence? Have I? And secondly, I don't even know who the fuck you are. Susie Bibby or Bybee? I don't know who the fuck you are. I'm not interested in finding out who the fuck you are because you're probably a foul person to begin with. And I don't I don't care what you think about me. I don't even know you. So if you're judging me based on what other people say, you too can also go fuck yourself. And hello, King Bob. I saw you in chat. So this is um this is just the kind of shit that I deal with sometimes. Because of course I don't pay attention to most of it anymore. I try not to unless something catches my eye and it's like, oh, they're talking about me. Um, I honestly don't give a fuck. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. People go by what they are told. And it just proves my point over and over and over again. Whether you're delusional and complicit like Bruce, or if you're just Carrie Rickman, who has nothing better to do with her time than to sit around and make shit up like Debbie Carver and the rest of the peanut gallery over there. If that's really all they have to do, and then they have nothing on me, then yeah, maybe I could walk away, but I pointed out because there's people out there who may be listening to this and they may not otherwise know how to handle that situation. So it's kind of hard to say, really. Um, Kind of hard to say what they would do with that information. But if they come here looking for some kind of answer to a question, then I'm happy to answer the questions you have. But I'm not going to sit by like Bruce says I should do and just take shit from people who are going to gossip. I'm not going to do that. Um, Hi, Jared, my brother Joe Smith. What's happening, man? Haven't talked to you in a while. Hope you're having a good Memorial Day weekend. And um, I mean, Joel, if you're just now coming in, and if your question is, are you still dealing with trolls and problem people? Yeah, I am, but it's not as bad as it has been previously. I'm doing good, Joe. I just don't have a car. I think I might have a car tomorrow. Yeah, I had a Trailblazer. No, you're welcome. I had a Trailblazer, Joe, and what happened was the front end went out, the CV axle went out. Can't drive it no more. So I have been looking around for a vehicle and it has been absolute hell. It's been a nightmare trying to find a car. And I've been to like 3 different counties with no luck. But my cousin Damien, he has a car for sale and he might be willing to sell it to me. So I'm hoping that goes through. Sorry about all the bad news. It's just life, man, and as far as assholes go, I mean, we're gonna deal with assholes no matter what. Assholes are everywhere. But I think we gotta keep assholes in the world so that way it reminds us of our sanity, that we don't stoop to their level and we don't kowtow to childish behavior because quite frankly, like you and I, we're too grown for that shit. So we have to keep assholes around so that way we know to act an opposite of that, if that makes sense. But I'm doing well. Uh, Dad had to take Amy to Owasso because she has an infection on her foot, so he had to take her to the hospital. That's why I'm flying solo this week. And yeah, so I'm here for the next about 35 minutes or so. This hour just seems to go by so quickly. But it's great to see you again, Joe. I know I haven't really been texting and keeping in touch, and I do apologize for that. There's just so much going on. And but I do wonder how you're doing. I'm still friends with your girlfriend there on Facebook, and we don't really even talk a lot. But I think it's because again, I get sidetracked doing things, she gets sidetracked doing things. But yeah, we're still connected on Facebook. So if you ever decide that you want to return to Facebook, Joe, come look for me. And if anybody wants to try to convince you of anything bad about me, just ask them for proof, ask them for evidence. And if it's from Justina Banks, all you'd have to do is request a picture, request a selfie. That'll piss them off in no time because they're being deceitful. And if you're holding their feet to being honest, then that's a surefire way to get blocked by a troll. But Justina Banks is actually Russ Boggs. I figured that out a long time ago. But I'm going to continue to I continue to press this Justina Banks, although I know who it is behind the account, but I continue to press them on that, on a selfie, because the more you do it, the more pissed off and frustrated they're going to get. How dare you make me show 'em my identity? Because you're a lying sack of fucking dog shit. That's why I'm pressing you on showing a picture of yourself, because I'm not going to just believe everything you tell me. You deceitful, dishonest, gaslighting piece of shit. Good seeing you too, brother. And all is good. We all keep in touch. Yeah. I'm glad to hear from you, Joe. Absolutely. I'm absolutely happy to hear from you. And anybody who comes into my chat, even chewing off my toenail, which, he keeps it humorous. He keeps it funny. But, and I do have kind of a special announcement to make this week. So on Tuesday, the 27th, it will mark 10 years that this channel has been active. It'll be the 10th birthday of this particular YouTube channel. I'm not doing anything special. I don't think anyway. But as of Tuesday, I will be on this channel for 10 years. It's been a long 10 years. Hello, Ashley. Great to see you. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for the congratulatory comment. I appreciate that. This Tuesday, the 27th, this channel will have been active for 10 years. And yeah, I'm holding a washable Crayola marker. It was just here on my desk. So yep, 10 years I've been here and just kind of, sticking, well, I don't want to say sticking it to people, because that's not the entirety of this channel. I try to keep this channel like a miscellaneous channel. Like if I just so happen to take a video of something that piques my interest, I'll record it, upload it here. Or if someone needs calling out, I'll just call them out. But I actually don't like to call people out. If you can believe it, I don't get any kind of joy or comfort in doing it. But I've said this many times and I'll say it again. When people are lying about you, I think you just talk common sense on your channel. Well, thank you, Ashley. That's the point. That's the actual point of that. That's why I constantly go after people who are bashing me and gossiping, which, by the way, is still happening. If you're going to lie about me or come up with some ignorant bullshit about me, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to call you out. It doesn't matter if I talk about the same thing 50 times over. Dishonesty and deceit, it deserves ridicule and bashing. It deserves it. There's no two ways about that. We live in a world where, and you know this, Ashley and Joe, and anybody else watching this, we live in a world where people will believe everything they are told without question, without challenge, without inquiry, without investigation, without knowing the difference between fact and feeling. I wake up in a world that operates solely on feelings and bandwagons. It's a scary place to live right now. It's a scary place to be. And all of the interactions I've had with people over the years would otherwise be normal. They would otherwise be okay if people weren't ignorant about what they accept and what they deny. If you're gonna lie about me, at least make it fun. Give me a fun Taylor Swift lie. Yeah, yeah. Um, but Ashley, I would never say anything horrible about you. I love you. I adore you. And I'm actually jealous of the guy that you're seeing right now because it's like he's got a beautiful woman. I think you're gorgeous. I've always thought that about you. And I am jealous of the guy you're with. I will admit that to the world that this beautiful woman in my chat is seeing someone and it's like, damn, why didn't I jump on it when I had the chance? I probably didn't have a chance with you anyway, Ashley, but just so you know, I just think I've always thought you were a beautiful woman. Always. You know, when I first discovered Ashley Collins, her channel, because I was curious about, and this is actually initially what brought Ashley and I together. And we crossed paths and we built upon a friendship. I was searching YouTube about people who don't want children. That piqued my interest, and then I just so happened to stumble across Ashley's channel, and I loved her thoughts. It's like, I could vibe with this girl. I mean, she's right on the money, her she's just on it, and I love you too, sweetheart. I always will. But it seemed to her thoughts and her thought processes had vibed with me, and it's like, this girl's speaking some truth here. And that's initially what brought Ashley and I together as friends. And then I started watching more of her videos, and it's like, this girl, I mean, not only is she smart, but she's gorgeous too. And that I love a woman who has a double threat. And I say threat lightly, you know what I mean. It's not a threat at all to be intelligent and gorgeous at the same time. I think it's amazing. Um, but Ashley is like one of the coolest friends ever. I've always found her attractive. She's always been a sweetheart to me. And I love the way she thinks. I love the way you think, girl. And I'm glad you're here this week. And I thank you also for the compliment. Because I do talk common sense on this channel. I try to welcome that because common sense seems like a lost cause and it seems like a lost art and it seems as though it's dying out in a world where people operate solely on feelings instead of facts. And that to me is scary. All the people I've had communication with over the past, I don't know, 10 years or so, a lot of that could have been avoided where they hear something about me and run. A lot of that could have been avoided, if not all of it could have been avoided, if they had the mentality, if they understood logic and critical thinking, all of that could have been avoided. Instead of jumping on a bandwagon, because if we jump on a bandwagon, that means we'll have protection against being attacked. Ask Tammy Stamper, she'll tell you. And I'm dropping names like a motherfucker this week, but it's whatever. Tammy Stamper is also another one who lied and said that I was saying awful things about her granddaughter who have sadly passed away. Never happened. I never said one awful thing about her granddaughter. Not one. But she's going on Facebook telling everybody that I did. She knows it's a fucking lie. She will never admit to it because she doesn't want to be made into a fool, which for me, it's too late because I already know you're a fucking liar, Tammy. You know that I would never say anything horrible about your granddaughter. I never said anything horrible about your granddaughter when we were speaking before your granddaughter passed away. We never had any negative comment. between each other. But when you got mixed up with Milk Tyson, that's when I started to really get annoyed because Milk Tyson turned out to be a fraud. That's why his nonprofit organization got shut down by the federal government because he wasn't paying taxes. They got him on tax evasion. He should actually be sitting in a federal prison right now. But no, they just shut his shit down. Good. Now you can't use sick and dying children as your calling card to get rich and famous and popular. And you, Tammy, were gravitating towards that piece of shit who was deceitful. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You have people who don't know how to think, independent thinkers. You don't have that anymore. I'm an independent thinker, and that's why I get in so much quote unquote trouble because I'm not a conventional kind of a person. I see something for what it is and I call it out. If you're going to lie about me, I'm going to bash you and ridicule you to no ends of this fucking planet. Count on it. Someone actually called the law out in Milford, Connecticut, and I have an audio recording of that in one of my daily rants here on YouTube. I almost said Facebook. Here on YouTube. Because her son is a childhood cancer survivor. And I wanted to extend yeah, this is true, Ashley. Yeah, this is very true. I wanted to extend and by the way, how did I get her address? She listed it on the kid's Facebook page. You don't always need Google. I mean, everybody's address, my address is out there. Absolutely. My address is out there. But anyway, I had written a letter to her son to congratulate him and to introduce myself and say, I am a childhood cancer survivor myself. I've been through that. I know what that is. And I it started out as, messaging on the page, and then she says, "Well, we don't wanna be contacted anymore." It's like, "Well, what's up with that?" Yeah, you have a right to not wanna be contacted, but what's the reason? Like, what did I do? I just introduced myself. So I figure, okay, maybe the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. Maybe it was the husband who felt threatened, and the wife maybe didn't know. So I sent the boy a letter and said, "Hey, let me introduce myself. Let's start over here. I'm willing to, forgive. My name is Jared. I'm a childhood cancer survivor. Well, we don't wish to be contacted." And then she had the audacity to call the police. And I got a letter from the Milford Police Department, Milford, Connecticut Police Department. Well, it's an ongoing investigation. I still have the letter, by the way. It's an ongoing investigation. At first, I'm thinking, nah, this is bullshit. There's no ongoing investigation anywhere. So I called the police department of Milford, Connecticut, just out of curiosity, because there's nothing they can, what crime's been committed here? What's going on? And so the guy says, well, I mean, I've got the audio recording here on my YouTube channel. Almost forgot for a minute. And the whole conversation is recorded, and he is like, "Well, they don't want you talking to him anymore." Well, who fucking cares? I'll talk to any fucking buddy I want to. If I'm not breaking a law, actively violating a law, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. That's how that works. That's the country I live in. If I'm not breaking a law, see, here in America, we call that freedom. Talking to someone is not violating them. I have people talking to me all the time. And if I cried, "I feel violated," if I did that to every person that I didn't really wanna talk to, what that would be a reflection of me. Do Am I so entitled to where random people can't talk to me? No, I'm not. I am open to conversation with anybody. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter your skin color, doesn't matter your height, doesn't matter your income, doesn't matter anything. You're a human being. If you wanna talk to me, let's talk. I'm not some self-entitled, spoiled fucking brat who thinks that no one can speak to him. That's not how that works. That's not the world I live in. It's not aggravated anything. There is nothing going on. I just wrote a letter to her son and said, "Hey, I'm a child of cancer survivor. I'm proud of you for what you're doing." They don't want to be, well, if they don't want to be bothered, just don't talk to them. You can't talk to them no more. I said, well, first of all, I don't appreciate cop-splaining. Second of all, you're not even in my state, let alone my jurisdiction. And who the fuck are you to tell me what I can and can't do when I have not actively broken a law? I don't think the cop liked it. I hung up on him because he was being a tyrant ass piece of shit, telling me what I can and can't do. And it's like, fucker, I'm talking to you on a phone. Are you going to tell me, are you also going to tell me over the phone that I can't walk down the road and drink a bottle of beer? Which I wouldn't normally do, but it was just to prove a point. Well, I hung up on him. And now the Sarah Moyo from Milford, Connecticut, spoiled, entitled bitch, thinks that I've broken a law because I wrote a letter and we don't want him talking to us. Too fucking bad. There's no law against me talking to anybody. None. And it's not stalking. Stalking would be if I was hiding in the bushes. Stalking would be if I created a page or some other unknown account to monitor someone else's Facebook, which I don't do that. I couldn't give a fuck less. It's more work to have to do something like that. And for what? For what? Because I have nothing better to do during the day? No, I actually had things to do. I'm not someone who is, I don't have enough time in my life, let alone in one day, to waste minutes on people who are just ignorant. But I will call it out. And I don't see that as a waste of time. I see that as a valuable time, no better time than to bring it up and to call people out for being dishonest. And that should be a lesson to anyone. You see how stupid this person is? Now I'm going to make an example out of them. Don't fucking act like that towards me because I will also make an example out of you just as well. And I don't think anything was wrong with that. Like, okay, if Ashley's still watching, I don't know if she is or not, but let's say Ashley in chat says, Jared, stop talking to me. Don't talk to me no more. I don't want to hear from you anymore. Well, if I'm speaking to you, I'm not breaking a law. However, if I'm driving in an area where you live to find out where you live, and if I'm looking for your address and your cell phone number, which I already have her cell phone number, by the way, but let's say, and this is just a hypothetical. I'm driving in your neighborhood. I'm trying to find out exactly where you live, and I'm going to get even with her. I'm going to hide. I'm going to hide out somewhere. Then you have an issue. Then you have a case. And at that point, I would be held up as a lunatic, which I am not. I could, and this is something else too. This is something else, but see, Ashley's not like that. Ashley is actually better than that. I don't think Ashley would ever do that to me because Ashley knows me, and Ashley knows that I would not do anything creepy like that. But there's another point to be made about that too. Now, let's say, because I love going on joyrides across Michigan. I love driving around, or even, to other states, I enjoy driving to other states. Now, let's say I pass through a town where one of my haters, where they live at. Now, let's say I'm driving through the town, not actually recognizing that they live there. Are they still going to get me for stalking? Because if I don't know for sure that they live there, you know, if I don't know for sure that they live in that town, are they still going to get me for stalking? Because I don't know where these people live. I don't care to know where they live. I'm just driving down a road freely, and it becomes that. It turns into that. I'm not making it a point to find physical addresses of people. The people that I write to, the cancer warriors that I write to, their parents have volunteered their addresses for me in Messenger. I don't go and look. Like, I'm not scouring the internet trying to find information about them. Oh, there's Dad and Amy right there. You guys are just in time. Well, I got about 15 minutes left. But anyway, the point I was making was I'm not. Luna. Hey, Luna. I'm not making it a point, is what I'm saying, to scour the internet. Now, if they put the information there, then yeah, I mean, you're making it public for everybody. It's just a tangled web, you know, and I'm not someone who's out there trying to make anyone's life miserable, because life is hard already. Isn't that right, guys?
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, I kind of filled everybody in on what's going on.
The mask is back.
Oh, it's back.
Yeah.
Mm.
My surgery was a year ago.
Yeah,
I've been going through those.
Is that why you got sick earlier?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Worrying yourself sick, or just
both?
Yeah. So I told everybody that I might be getting a car. Just going to change the subject a little bit. That I might be getting a car from my cousin. So what? So it just needs a brake line? Oh, it's a Chevy Cavalier. It needs a brake line, and
he even said, he says that Jared needs extra parts for it.
I got extra parts.
He says, I got extra parts.
Yeah.
Because he drives Cavalier for racing.
Right. I was just talking. I was just in the middle of a point how people like to think I'm stalking them.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking idiot.
Yeah. I agree. I don't stalk people. But I've been branded a stalker. Yeah, that's what I say. Oh, well, who cares? I mean, you could just as easily find where I live, but, you know. Oh, these are your discharge papers? Active or acute pain of left foot, mass of soft tissue. Dr. Patsy and Rory Cox. Dr. Cox, COCKS.
Yeah.
I bet he gets so much shit for that. I shouldn't put alcohol on that cut, because he probably gets enough shit for that as it is. But anyway, I'll look at this later. But anyway, guys, the point I was trying to make is that I've been branded a stalker. I've been accused of a lot of things, but yet no one can come forward. And Ashley in chat I just love how she said that. No, that's not what she said. She says, I think you just talk common sense on your channel. And that's a compliment, because that's what I do. The point of calling out the nonsense is to make it an example of what not to do and how not to behave and what not to say when we are investigating what's true and what's not. Now, I called out a few people already today. And, you know, I don't like to do it. I honestly do not like to call people out. I don't like to name drop. But provided that this is a public channel and a lot of the shit that they say is public, why not make a public statement about a person who used their actual public name? I mean, if it's just gossip, why don't you just walk away? Because walking away would mean that I'm going to lie down and take it, and nothing, is going to be challenged or questioned or held again. Is it going to pass the sniff test? If there's no scrutiny involved, then they just get away with saying and doing whatever they want. And if I don't defend myself, then, well, you're just making yourself look guilty by talking about it all the time. No. Talking about it all the time is an honest way of delving into information, so that way we're not believing things without any good reason. That's why we do what we do. That's why we question everything that we read. And I know Facebook is horrible about this. I see this daily. People believe everything without question, without challenge, without scrutiny, without going through rigorous barriers. People are constantly believing things without question, and that is dangerous. Because when you believe things without question, you believe things without evidence, then you're making decisions based on feelings, and your feelings are irrelevant to what's true and what's not true. I saw someone wearing a shirt last week. It said "fuck your feelings," and I wish I could get a shirt like that. I might order a shirt like that off the internet here pretty soon. Fuck your feelings. I love it. I love it. Because basically it's not saying we disregard, we hurt you and we disregard how we hurt you. It's saying your feelings don't match up with what the facts are, so fuck your feelings. That's what that means. It means your feelings don't match up with demonstrable facts, so fuck your feelings. I need to get me a shirt that says fuck your feelings. I think it's great. Yeah. But yeah, I've just been sitting here kind of entertaining the masses, so to speak. There's only 3 people watching, so that's probably as big of a mass as I'm going to get. Although I think I had the viewer number up to 4 just a short time ago, but I think they got bored and decided to leave, which is fine. Maybe it's the swearing. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. They say, Jared, watch your mouth. Well, fuck that. I am watching my mouth. See, I can see my mouth on the screen. And
why it doesn't have any sensors.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the world that we're living in right now currently. That is the current state of affairs, is that people make decisions based on feelings instead of facts. And no one knows how to question anything.
No one knows how to come to the source.
Yeah, that too. I feel a sneeze coming.
Oh, not good.
Oh. But the biggest problem is people don't know how to question what they are told. Uh-oh.
They want to believe everybody that hearsay instead of coming to the main source and finding out.
Well, and that's basically the point. That was the crux. Is that because this guy here, because I made a community post about, I was accused of faking having cancer as a child. That was the latest accusation. As much as I despise people who actually do fake having cancer, I fucking wish I could say that I never had cancer. I wish I didn't have to go through that shit when I was 2 years old. The thing is, this man over here, who's now off camera, he was there. My mother was there. My mom's gone now, but he was there. He can vouch. And even if Dad wasn't here, I still have the battle scars. I have the paperwork. I have artifacts, my Jared Bear that evidently Jerry Bear is a stinky fucking teddy bear, according to some people. Well, you are a stinky fucking individual. So you can put that in your pipe and smoke it, bitch. But they insult my teddy bear. You're insulting a teddy bear? Really? Now who's being childish? But anyway, my Jared Bear is an artifact. A lot of, because I saved a few parking passes from when we went to East Lansing to MSU for my checkups. I got a wristband. There's just so much so many memories of checkups. I wasn't going to checkups just for the hell of it. There was a reason I went to checkups. And I found out when the older I got, the more I started to understand the reason I had to go for checkups is because of what I had went through prior to that I do not have mental recollection of. See, there's always a reason for everything. It's a chain reaction. When you have cancer, when you're out of treatment, when you beat it, then you have to go for routine checkups every so often. And eventually they dwindle off. But there's a reason why I was going to checkups. I was 16 years old when I went to Lansing for a checkup. That's been a long time ago, but over 20 years ago. And I remember it because Mark Patterson had taken me. And Dad. And it's been a long time ago. But there's a reason for checkups. There's a reason why they made me go back. But I'm talking as far back as being 3, 4, 5 years old, the late 80s and early 90s, which was the peak of my checkup stage, the routine scans. I always wondered, like, why is it I have to go, but my cousins, whom of which I grew up with, they don't have to go to this because they didn't have cancer. I did. I used to frown on that quite a bit. Like, am I ever going to get to live a normal life? But then the older I got, I realized, what's the standard of normal? Who defines what normal is? I think I'm pretty fucking normal. I don't like to cause harm to other people. I don't like to lie about people. I don't make shit up about people to get back at them. I don't start cults to get people to think like me and behave like me and talk like me and do every little thing I do. And I don't run shit. I am another person who just so happened to survive cancer as a child. And I share my story. Now, what you do with that is entirely up to you. Oh, my nose is running now. Shit. What you do with that is entirely up to you. But I will never lie about what I've been through. Never. And there are lots of kids who did not make it. And my heart breaks for those families. A lot. And I continue now. I've gotten back into advocacy, which this may come as a big surprise to a few people. And Jared, he announced publicly he's coming back to advocacy. Now we got to run and tell our headquarters that, Jared's back. Now let's go and lie about him some more. Fuck you. Fuck you and all the minions that think you're going to take me down for whatever reason. You have not a leg to stand on. None. Because everything you say, Carrie Rickman, Debbie Carver, Russ Boggs, Justina Banks, all you slimy sleazebag pieces of shit, you will never go unquestioned by me because guess what? I find things out. And I will question it every single time. So when you think I don't know, rest assured, I know. And I will continue to call you out every fucking time. And the more I call you out, hopefully other people are going to see that I'm calling you out. I'm asking the important questions, and they're going to rethink their position. They're going to think, God, Jared's right. And a lot of them aren't going to want to admit that I'm right because they're already against me for whatever reason they had anyway. And that's fine. They can be against me, but they cannot deny the fact that I ask the questions for a reason. And when things don't add up, then you have no choice but to disregard the bullshit you're being told. And maybe one day Bruce Duchetti, or however the fuck you say his name, irrelevant. Maybe one day he'll wake up to that reality and say, you know what? Jared makes a lot of good points. Because anytime, see, this is how we dispel gossip and rumors. The very first thing you go for the jugular, so to speak. Where's the evidence for the claims that are being made? Do you have any evidence for this? Because if you have no evidence, no credible evidence for that, why are you believing it? Now, if they want to, they try to make it about me going after parents. Yep, sure have. I'm not denying that. I can't deny it, even if I wanted to. I'm not going to, because there's a lot of Daily Rant recordings on this channel where I have called people out. If you're going to be a fucking idiot, I'm going to call it out. And I'm going to call you out for fostering the idiocy. Nothing wrong with that. And to echo what Ashley said in my chat, I talk common sense, and I try. And I'll end it on that note. So this Tuesday, this channel will be active for 10 years. 10 years I've been on this specific channel. May 27, 2015. That's when this channel started. And on Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, it'll be 10 years. And I hope that I will be here for the next 10 years, and we can talk about the 20th anniversary of this channel. I love you guys. Do you have anything you want to add, Dad, before I go? Amy? No. I think she just wants to sleep. Have a good day, Jared. Congratulations on number 10. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Ashley, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you so much for stopping in and having a conversation. And Joe, love you, brother. Chewing off my toenail, as always. Thanks for the humor. King Bob.
Oh, chewing off my toenails. My dog's saving her toenails for you.
He left 4 comments. I read them off at the beginning of the stream here. When the sun rises in the morning, my toenails yawn and stretch when they wake up. When I'm sizzling bacon in the frying pan, my toenails will stare up at the stove. I have bags of toenails for sale, 51 cents per pound. As much as I love them, they can't live with me anymore. And then this is gross. I love adding toenails to my rice chucks. Adds that extra crunch. But anyway, guys, it's been an hour. I've been here overtime a little bit. Tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time, Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards. The link is in the chat. Give it a listen tonight. Call in if you have any songs that you would like Dan to play. He plays classic rock, southern rock, and classic country. So the number is 810-230-9777. It's 810-230-9777. So there's another plug for my buddy Dan Richards. I love you guys. I will see you next week. What is next week? The 3rd? Is it the 3rd? No. It's Monday's the I thought Sunday was the 1st.
Yeah, that's right. Sunday's the 1st. Sorry.
Okay, Sunday's the 1st. I'll be back on June 1st. And that about does it. So I'm going to stop pointing at everybody with my washable Crayola marker. and I'm going to get the hell out of here. I love y'all very much, and I thank you so much for stopping by and indulging me for an hour and 5 minutes. And remember what this weekend's about. The people in military who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, whether anybody likes it or not, freedom. I love freedom. Proud to be an American. I may not agree with a lot of things happening in this country these days, but I am proud to be an American. I want to say the greatest country in the world, although daily it's showing me otherwise. But I keep my head up. I remain optimistic about the future, and I just do the best I can. And I will continue to call out the bullshit. So, love y'all. Peace out, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.